Hi Rev P, it's Jessica. Last week you helped us understand how to find the right mentor. This time I'd love to know, what difference has mentorship made in your own journey?
Welcome to Grace and Grits podcast with Rev P, where real perspectives meet insight and purpose. Get comfortable and stay tuned. Here's Rev P.
Hey guys, you're welcome back to Grace and Grit, a brand new podcast with myself, Rev Paapa Crunchy Ankara. On this podcast, we are discussing things of life and how we can have better lives. It's called Grace and Grit. As the name suggests, we are trying to combine biblical principles with lessons that you should be applying to your everyday life, lessons of hard work, lessons of diligence to ensure that you have greatness. You're welcome. Thanks for joining us one more time. In the last episode, we spoke about how to find a mentor and finding a mentor, how to find the right mentor for yourself. And today we want to discuss some of the things that I have learned from my personal mentors. So some of the best lessons that I have discovered or derived from my mentors. And I'm happy to share them with you today. In preparing them, I had to really search my mind and search my notes and search my spirit to try and combine all of them or pick out some of the best lessons that I have heard over the years. And today, I have been able to narrow them down to 7, and hopefully we can get through them very, very quickly. Thank you so much for joining. First of all, before I go into the lessons, I want to say this. So I taught you how to find a mentor, and last time in the last episode, we said that there are 2 types of mentors. There are ones that you have direct access to, you can call, you can visit, you can ask questions, and there are others that you just learn from far. So for me, my 2 mentors that I have access to and I learn from, obviously, if anybody knows me, you know this one, that my father is one of my mentors. He's the one that I try and model my life and my ministry on, and everything that he does, I try to replicate in family life, in ministry, in business, and in whatnot. So that is possibly the one person that has the most influence on the things that I do. Is my biological father, the Apostle General Sam Krachankra. In case you didn't know, that's him. But the second one that not a lot of people know, and it's funny, somebody asked me recently that who is my pastor apart from Apostle General, right? And not the one who pastors you, but the one that you can actually go to for pastoral counsel and advice. And the one that is my personal pastor, the one I can call on, the one I can ask questions, I can go to, and I'm sure he knows this. Yeah, he does know this. Is Apostle Emmanuel Agomeda, who is the apostle of our North American churches of Royal House. He pastors our church in Laurel in Maryland. In 2007, I was at his church when I was just about to enter university. And around this time, I had purpose that I wasn't going to be a pastor, right? Because I thought that what my father was doing was too good to be true, was too good to be replicated, was too high, too difficult. I thought that God was using him as a special case in this dispensation. I didn't think that it could be replicated at all. Then I went to Apostle Emmanuel's church in 2007 for Christmas and for New Year's service. And I realized that he had been able to replicate the Apostle General. Essentially, he was doing some Kranshankra in a different location. And he had done it in his own way, his own style, but still maintained the blueprints, still maintained the handwriting. That was the first time that the light bulb came on in my head that it is actually possible to be successful in ministry the Sam Kranshankra way. So from then I started really observing and learning from afar, and then obviously asking questions and approaching him and whatnot. So these are my 2 mentors, and everything I'm going to say, well, most things I'll say I learned from them. All right, so here we go. First lesson I have learned from my mentors and I want to share with you is to remember your identity. Remember your identity. One of the lessons that my father taught me Remember who you are, whose you are, and where you come from. Remember who you are, whose you are, and where you come from. This is really, really important. Now, I want you to know that whatever your identity is, it is part of who you are. Now, I'm the son of a great statesman and a public figure, right? It is part of my identity. There's nothing I can do about it. I didn't ask for it, I didn't apply for it. Wherever I go, it is with me. I can either wear it as a badge of honor, or I can let it be a weight that I carry around and I drag around lackadaisically. I've decided to wear as a badge of honor and to always let it be a reminder for me. And wherever I go, it's a reminder of who I am and whose I am. So it's a guide for my behavior. Right? I'll tell you a story. One day I was in GSS2, which is like grade 8, I believe. And my father was on the cover of a national newspaper called the Daily Mirror. Oh, sorry, it's not Daily, the Mirror, whatever it is. And the paper had done a feature about him for Father's Day, so they came to do a photo shoot. So on the cover of the national newspaper was my father and his kids, including myself. On Monday, my teacher brought the paper to class and showed it to the whole class and said, "Do you know now you're a public figure?" I said, "No, I don't think so. It was my dad." It's like, just by virtue of being on the cover of a national paper, you cannot behave any way that you like. I was 14 when I heard this, and that changed my life. That influenced the way I behave in public. It made sure it guided me every step of the way when I go out in public, even in private, the way I behave, the way I walk, the way I talk. And this is important. Now, the opposite is also true. If you don't come from a home or a parenthood that I come from, you come from a very poor background, it is part of your identity. This identity should guide the way you behave, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you strive for certain things. All right. I was watching the graduation, this year's graduation from KNUST, and one of the valedictorians was giving a speech, and he says that his father was blind and his mother was a stroke survivor, and they couldn't afford to pay his fees. He had to work to pay his own fees, and that identity moved and strived with him in the journey of his university. He couldn't do what everybody else was doing. If the rich kids were partying, he couldn't party with them. He knew that there was no hope. There was no help from anywhere. All he had was his studies. He had to pass and he had to excel. All right. So that's what it means. Remember who you are. Remember whose you are. And remember where you are from. Don't allow it to be a burden to hold you back, but let it be part of your everyday life. Let it remind you every step of the way, every decision that you take. You cannot be like everybody else. Remember who you are. Remember your identity. All right. Number 2, the advice I want to share: define yourself before the world defines you. All right. Define yourself before the world defines you. I don't know who you are and how old you are listening to this, but by this time, I'm guessing you are above 18. At the very least, I can assume that. You need to be asking yourself, how does the world see me? You need to be clear about what you stand for, and you need to be clear about what you believe in. You cannot be swayed like the wind. You cannot be swayed like water. You cannot be influenced so easily by everything that is around you. By this stage of your life, there should be some kind of clarity of who you are, where you stand, what you believe in. What do you stand for? Do you stand for justice or injustice? What do you believe in? Define yourself before the world defines you. If you don't define yourself, you are movable like a chess piece. Anything can just move you. Anybody can just move you. Anything can just come and drive you into any direction. All right? If you don't define yourself, ask yourself, if people were to describe me or define me in one statement, what would they say? And this is an exercise that I want you to do for yourself. Ask yourself, if people were to define me in one statement, what would they say? And if you're not sure, you need to define yourself. If you don't like the answer that you give to yourself, you need to work on yourself. And the beautiful thing is that you have time. You can redefine yourself as many times as possible, but just define yourself. Number three, invest in the next generation. Now, at the time I was hearing this advice, I was probably in my late 20s. And I was already hearing that I should be investing in other people. I should gather young pastors and gather young people who want to learn about ministry, and I should pour myself into them. At the time that I was hearing this advice, I thought that it was a bit premature. I thought that I didn't have enough knowledge or hadn't learned enough. But now that I'm in my 30s, I realize that it was sound advice. And here's why. Any opportunity that I have had to be a mentor to somebody, or to be a counselor, to be a coach, so I'm a marriage counselor as well, I realized that in the process of counseling people to get married, so premarital counseling, while I was counseling people, I was learning myself, and my personal marriage was getting better. In the process of mentoring people to become shepherds and to become ministry material, my personal ministry is getting better. In the journey of coaching people in business, in their careers, my personal mental state and my thinking process is getting better. So that's why this advice is so good. Aiming to mentor a younger generation, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you are, regardless of what level you have reached, makes you a better person. Teaching teenagers, helping them to define the kind of course that they should take in order to get to the career level that you are, makes you even better. It makes you think about your own personal journey, and it makes you accountable to yourself, to ask yourself, have I even achieved the things I'm telling them? What was my journey? What did I do? How did I get here? Is there anything I purposed to do that I didn't do? Have I forgotten some of the things that I set out to do? All right, so this is why this is so important. Gather people, pour yourself out into them, share your story, share your journey with them, and in doing so, you are learning, you are growing, and you are becoming better. Number four, the fourth advice that I learned from my mentors, I would like to share: steward your relationships. Steward your relationships. What does this mean? It just means that be responsible for the relationships that you have, responsible for the people that God places in your life. This was very relevant to me because for me, naturally, you know how people say that, oh, you only called me, you're not a good person because you only called me because you needed something. That is who I like. Don't call me until you need something. Don't call me to say, hello, how are you? Good morning, have you eaten? I feel like it's such a burden on me. You understand? So, because that is who I am, I assume everybody was like that. Or I put everybody in the same bracket and box as me. So, in my mind, I don't want to disturb people until I actually need something for them. But I came to realize that some people see that as being exploitive. Is that the word? Or using people or whatever. Oh, you only call me when you need me. You don't call me to check up on me. So I realized that people actually like that. So that's why this advice is very good. You cannot assume that everybody is like you. All right. Check up on people. Call people. Find out how people are doing. Now, this is what I do: is that when somebody pops into my head randomly, I do well to just send them a message at the very least. Hey, how's it going? Checking up on you. It's not easy because the number of people I know are a lot. I know thousands of people, from my primary school friends to GSS friends to senior high school friends to university masters. That's just one group. That's school. Then all the church members that I've ever pastored. Church 1, Church 2, Church 3. And I'm currently a pastor of a very large church. So it's not easy to always remember to check on people. But I try. Every now and then, send a message here and there. How's it going? Thinking about you, praying for you, checking on you. It's not easy. That alone even opens a conversation that I typically don't want to have. But Charlie, it's very good advice. And people are always very appreciative when they hear that. when they see I'm checking up on them. It means a lot to people. So I realized that I need to continue. So checking on people, honor people that have been good to you. Anybody that shows you kindness, remember them. I want to share this. You want to do that as well. This year, what I did was I set out to do anybody that showed me kindness. I had a list that I wrote down. All right. Anybody that ever helped me with anything, anybody that blessed me in any way, anybody that supported my ministry somehow, I wrote their names down on the list that I have, so that at the end of the year, I can show kindness back. I can say thank you. I can remember that this person helped me in the month of May, in the month of June. I think that is something I recommend to you. Being stewards of the relationships that God has placed you, being responsible. God doesn't like ingratitude. God doesn't like people who do not say thank you. 9 people, 10 people came to Jesus for healing. 1 person came back. Jesus said, did I not heal 10 people? Where are the other 9? Even Jesus Christ was expecting gratitude. And he said, go. Your faith has made you well. Now, here's a revelation I want to share from that scripture. The Bible says, go, your faith has made you whole. I believe that the other 9 who received the healing didn't receive full and total recovery of their healing. Perhaps coming back to say thank you was the antidote and the key that unlocked the total healing and the complete miracle for the 1 person who came back. So gratitude is very important. Honor those who are good to you. Remember those who show kindness to you. We'll be taking a break here. When we come back, we are going to continue some of the advice, the best advices that I've heard from my mentors. I'll see you shortly.
Grace and Grit podcast with Rev P is powered by Waft Technologies in partnership with eMoment Production.
You're welcome back to Grace and Grit with Rev Paapa. Before the break, we were talking about some of the best advices I've gotten from my mentors, and I want to share with you. If it's relevant to you, please take it on board and use it. Use it. So far, we've shared the first 4. The first one, remember your identity. Remember your identity. Remember who you are, whose you are, and where you are from. Number 2, define yourself before the world defines you. Define who you are before the world does. Number 3, invest in the next generation. Invest in the next generation. Pour out yourself into people who are younger than you or who are lower than you in the journey. Pour out yourself. Number 4, steward your relationships. Honor the people that God has placed in your life. Honor the people who have shown kindness to you. Remember those who have helped and supported you. Don't forget that. Check in, stay connected, nurture meaningful relationships. And we move on to the 5th one. Now, the 5th point needs a bit of a context. When I was turning 30, so I have a mentee who is 10 years younger than me, right? So when I was turning 30, she was turning 20. She's such a smart, very, very intelligent girl. Shout out to you, Dr. Abena, if you're watching this. So she came up to me and she asked for advice for her 20s. So things that I did in my 20s that I either regret or that were beneficial, she wanted me to pass on to her. She wanted advice that the life I lived when I was 20, she wanted advice, she wanted to pick my thoughts as she approached her 20s. So when she came to me for this, I was like, this is very good. If I'm going to share what I did in my 20s, I want somebody to share with me what I did in my 30s, or what they did in their 30s, sorry. So I also went to one of my mentors to ask about their 30s and things that they learned and things I can glean from. All right, so that was context. That's context. So the lesson I learned from that was that your 30s are foundational for the rest of your life. Your 30s are a foundation that you build upon. Everything that you do in your 30s will set the tone for what will happen in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and beyond. All right? In your 30s is when you must finish school. You can do your master's in your 40s, but it's just extra difficult. It's more difficult than it is earlier on in your life. Ideally, you should be getting married in your 30s. Now, this one applies solely for the men, because the ladies cannot marry themselves. Men, aim to get married in your 30s. Don't aim to get married in your 40s. The streets are even muddy. By the time you are finding somebody in your 40s, Charlie, you go and find somebody who, you understand, it's some way. So please, look in your 20s. By your 30s, you should be getting married. All right. So your 30s are foundational. Your 30s are foundational. The decisions that you make in your 30s, they will carry you through the rest of your life. So whatever it is that you want to do, make sure that you do before you turn 40. So this is the advice that I received. If you want to write a book, make sure that you do it start in your 30s. If you are starting a church, start your 30s or start by your 30s. Thankfully, a lot of these things I'm sharing to you, I did in my 20s, and my 30s were just a build up of my 20s. So that is very good advice that I want to share. Number 6, this is very, very important. This one I need to sit for it. Leverage compounding interest. Leverage the gifts and the idea and the power of compounding. What is compounding? Compounding is just the growth or the scale of the growth of investments, right? So now the current interest rate, let me use treasury bills. Treasury bills should be about 11%, 11%, if I believe. If I'm wrong, forgive me. It's around that in Ghana, right? So I'm using Ghana as the example. If you invest 1,000 Ghana cedis at the rate of 11 or 10% based on the current treasury bill rate, 91-day treasury bill rate, you are getting 10% or 11% on your investment at the end of the year. That's what it basically means. Compounding now means that leaving the money, the original 1,000 cedis, plus the extra 100 Ghana cedis that you have made from the 10%, and then reinvesting 1,100 Ghana cedis. All right, leaving it for another year and another year and another year, and the rate just compounds over each other. That's what compounding means. Now, this is very, very important, especially for the married couples. You will never, ever, ever grow wealth until you have come together for compounding. It's like 10 times more difficult unless something miraculous happens and you become a millionaire at some point in your life. And because you don't know that that's going to happen to you, start now. Start saving and investing now. Now, here's an assignment I want to give to you, and here's something I did myself. And this is very easy. Just go to ChatGPT or whatever AI platform that you use, and then put in the prompt. If I am X age, so your age, whatever your age is, and I want to have 10 million Ghana cedis, I'm using Ghana cedis 10 million because 1 million Ghana cedis is almost, some way. You cannot retire on 1 million Ghana cedis. You can use dollars if you like. I'm X age and I want to have $1 million by the age of 60. How much should I invest each month, compounding on a rate of 10% or 11%? Or wherever you're watching us from, just Google whatever the interest rate of your country is. So I think in the US, high yielding interest rates are like 4%. Okay, so in Ghana it's like 10 or 11%, depending on which government is in power. But in America it's like 4%. I don't know what it is in the UK. Google it and then put that in. So if I'm 30 years old today, how much should I invest each month to become a dollar millionaire by the age of 60 at the compounding rate of X, whatever it is your country? Obviously, this just presupposes that you don't have anything at all saved. So let's just start from bottom. When I did this exercise, Charlie, I started feeling hot. The amount I need to invest every month, every single month, from now till I turn 60 is 6,000 Ghana cedis. Every month. Just put it 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. Multiply by 12. 72,000 Ghana cedis, right? 72,000 Ghana cedis every year. which means that I should have enough to eat and chill and pay bills and pay school fees with extra 72K sitting there. It's not by might. It's not by might. So when you do this exercise, you realize that even doing it by yourself, if I had to do this by myself, that would be extra difficult, right? But if I did it with my wife, it's easier to split this for us to grow quicker. And by the time we are both 60, we have $1 million or 10 million Ghana cedis. All right? So compounding. If you haven't started yet, start today. The best time to start investing was yesterday. The next best time is today. Start saving, start investing. And leverage on the power of compounding interest. Start small. Don't wait till you earn a salary of 10,000 Ghana cedis before you say, I want to start saving. Whatever it is that you earn, just put away 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. All right? You thank me one day for this advice. Please do this. The last advice I want to share with you: prioritize your health. Prioritize your health. Now, I know that the larger demography of the people listening to me are probably young people in your 30s or your 20s. So at the moment, you are just living your life anyhow. You are eating anyhow. You are eating pork at midnight with fizzy drinks and Coke 1 liter you drink by yourself. There's somebody's name I wanted to mention, but Charlie, I don't want to mention on this podcast. Please. In my 30s, can you imagine? I've now reached the age where I'm now listening to health podcasts and listening to health advice. I can't believe it. Nowadays, when I fill a form, when they ask your age and there's brackets like 0 to 18, 18 to 35, I always used to be among the first or the second answer. Now, when I'm about to press the second answer, I realize my age is not there because it's serious. We are great. I'm 4 years from being 40 years old. How wild is that? It's crazy. Just a few years ago, I was in high school. A few years ago, I was chilling in university. Now, I'm 4 years away from being 40 years. And I've already begun to notice like some gray hair. I don't know where it's coming from. And now till I'm feeling some back pain, some joint pains. Hey, all of a sudden, I realized that I can't eat the same way I used to eat. I can't drink the same things I used to drink. And this was advice that I heard when I was in my 20s. I always told myself, when I get to 30, I'll change. When I go to 30, when I get to 35, I'll change. Now I've passed 35. And it's really, really, really important. Please, watch the sugar level. Watch the time that you eat. The advice I received was, if you don't take care of your body will remind you later to take care of it. If you don't begin to take care of your body now, your body will remind you later in life. When you become weak, when you start forgetting things, when signs of dementia and Parkinson's disease is creeping in, because there's so much trash inside of your body, and sugar has filled your brain. You can't think clearly. Your memory is foggy. You can't even remember your own birthday. Kaboli Yamasayaba. That's what you remember. I should have listened to Rev Paapa on Grace and Grit when he spoke about this. Please don't wait for that to happen. Take very good care of your body. Start working out. I'm talking to the young ladies who have stomach. You don't even have 3 children, and you have stomach. What do you call it? Fupa or something like that. Charlie, start walking. Wake up, go and walk. Go on the treadmill, go and walk. Beautiful face, big stomach. It's not nice. Nobody will tell you, I'm telling you. Please prioritize your health. If you don't take care of your body now, your body will demand attention later. Start now and let it become a habit. If you don't go to the gym, start going to the gym. Don't just go and register first week of January and then you cancel your subscription later. Go and work out, carry weights, walk, skip, run. Please, your health is not an expense. It's an investment. Invest in yourself. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me just recap some of the best advices I've received. Number one, Remember your identity. Number 2, define yourself before the world defines you. Number 3, invest in the next generation, irrespective of your age and what you have achieved. Number 4, steward your relationships. Number 5, your 30s are a foundation for what is to come after. Number 6, leverage the power of compounding. And number 7, prioritize your health. I promise you that if you're able to follow these advices, your life will never be the same again. But I'm curious, put in the comment section some of the best advice you have received from your mentors. Share it with me and let's interact. Somebody will be learning from the things that you'll be sharing. Somebody will also see your comment and will also learn something. Write and type in the comment section some of your favorite advice that you have received from your mentors. Thank you so much for joining Grace and Grit. My name is Rev Paapa Crunchy Ankara. Please like, share, and subscribe wherever it is you are listening or you are watching from. If you are watching on YouTube, the information is coming at the bottom of your screen. You can check out how to follow me on social media. My name is Rev Paapa on all social media platforms. If it's TikTok, Rev Paapa. If it's Instagram, Rev Paapa. YouTube, Rev Paapa. If you still have my space, it's Rev Paapa. You can catch me on any social media platform. I'd like to interact with you. Send me a message, reach out to me, let's interact, and I'll see you soon. God bless you.
Grace and Grit podcast with Rev P is powered by Waft Technologies in partnership with eMoment Production.